If you want a new complete gaming PC build in 2024 that will give you amazing performance with really high frame rates, no bottlenecks for any resolution, whether it's 1080p, 1440p or 4K, and also that fits your budget, then keep watching this video because I will show you all of that and more, giving you the estimated performance for each one of these PCs. That way, even if you're a beginner, you are able to understand the level of performance that you're going to be getting when buying one of these PC builds. And I will cover every budget. All the links to these PCs will be down below in the video description, and there will be bonus PCs as well down below. With that being said, let's start. With the first PC, we have the cheapest one on the list for $800, and I call this one the $800 1080p Ultra or 1440p high gaming desktop. And as I said a second ago, you will have bonus PCs in the description, so if you have less than $800, don't worry because there's going to be a PC for you as well in the description. Anyway, for the CPU and GPU combo, we have the Ryzen 5 5600 for the CPU, which is an amazing budget processor that is very capable of 1440p and 1080p resolution. And then for the GPU, we have the RX 6750 XT, which is going to be an amazing choice for 1080p and 1440p resolution. For you to see the estimated gaming performance of this system on a 15-game average at 1080p on high to ultra settings, the RTX 4060 Ti 8GB version, which is basically the same in terms of performance as the RX 6750 XT, was able to average 111 FPS, which is a very high number considering we are talking about ultra settings with really high demanding games being tested, such as The Last of Us Part 1 or Cyberpunk 2077. And then jumping up to 1440p resolution on that same 15-game average, the 4060 Ti was able to average 78 FPS, so you can expect the same level of performance with the RX 6750 XT, or even more because you get 12GB of VRAM compared to the 8GB of VRAM that you get on the 4060 Ti. So you're going to get an amazing smooth experience in both resolutions, and if you want to play easier to run shooters such as Fortnite or Valorant, you can expect well over 200 FPS at all times at 1080p competitive settings. Honestly, for the price, you are getting an amazing system. Then for the rest of the components, you get a B550 motherboard with plenty of features for gaming, 32GB of RAM, which is going to be amazing not only for gaming but also for productivity work and content creation. Then for the storage, you get a 1TB Gen 3 SSD, which you can always upgrade to 2TB if you need more storage. And then for the case, we have the Bitfinex Nova Mesh Micro ATX Mini Tower case. Amazing case in terms of price to performance for just $60 with 3 pre-installed fans, which is going to be useful because you don't have to spend more money on fans, and the airflow here for the money that you're spending is going to be top tier. And last but not least, we have the power supply in the Apivia Prestige 600W 80+ gold power supply, which is going to be enough for this type of build. If your budget is higher, for $1,200 you can get a system that's capable of every resolution, 1080p, 1440p and 4K. Here for the CPU, you get the Ryzen 5 7600, which is one of the best price to performance CPUs that you can get today in the market, and it's from the AM5 platform, which means that it's very upgradable over time if you want a new CPU from AMD down the line. And then for the GPU, you get the RX 7800 XT with 16GB of VRAM, making this GPU not only capable of 1440p and 1080p but also 4K resolution, 60+ FPS on average. Talking about the gaming performance, on that same 15-game average at 1440p, the 7800 XT got an average of 108 FPS, then over 147 FPS at 1080p and 60+ FPS on average at 4K, which by the way, if you are planning on playing at 4K, you can turn on the AMD upscaler, which is called FSR, and you will be achieving higher FPS than 60 on high to ultra settings, even on high demanding titles. For the rest of the components, you get an aftermarket CPU cooler in the Thermalright Assassin X, which is going to be plenty of cooling for our Ryzen 5 7600. Then you get the MSI Pro B650M/A Wi-Fi Micro ATX motherboard, which is from the AM5 platform and is going to be upgradable over time in case you want new CPUs down the line. Then you get 32GB of DDR5 memory instead of DDR4 at 6000 MHz CL30 timings, meaning that it's really fast and it's going to be useful if you play high FPS type of shooters. Then you get a 1TB Gen 3 SSD once again, the Montec Air 100 ARGB for the case. I like this one better than the last one. I think it looks amazing, it comes with 4 pre-installed fans, and the airflow is going to be great for the price. And last but not least, the power supply, we have the NZXT C750. This is an A-tier rated unit, 750 watt 80 plus volt power supply, which is more wattage than you need for this type of system, but I had to include this one because it's A-tier rated. Then if you have more money to spend, for about $1,500 you can get the same Ryzen 5 7600, but this time with the RX 7900 XT. The RX 7900 XT in my opinion is the limit for 1440p resolution, and you can also play at 4K resolution with no issues. On that same test I've been mentioning throughout this video, at 1440p the 7900 XT has an average of 139 FPS and over 82 FPS at 4K resolution. In my opinion, this is the best price to performance system that you can get on the entire video if you want a balance between quality and performance. There's simply no game that you can't run at 1440p and even 4K depending on the settings. Then for the rest of the components, we get a more premium aftermarket CPU cooler in the Deepcool HE400. We get the same MSI motherboard, same 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, the same 1TB of Gen 3 SSD, and same power supply with the NZXT C750, but this time you get the Fractal Design Pop Mini Air for the Micro ATX mid-tower case, which is a better case, is more premium quality than any other case I've mentioned in this video so far. And then if you want to play at 4K ultra settings, or you want to play at 1440p ultra and maybe upgrade to 4K down the line, this $2,000 PC build is going to be your best option. For the CPU, you get the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is arguably the fastest CPU in the entire market, and then for the GPU, you get the RX 7900 XTX, which is the second fastest GPU in the market in terms of rasterized performance. On that 15M average from TechSpot at 4K resolution, take a look at the RTX 4080, which is basically the same as the 7900 XTX in terms of rasterized performance. The 4080 or 7900 XT is able to average over 90 FPS at 4K ultra settings, and remember this is native resolution, so if you turn on the upscaler you can expect way higher frame rates. And then at 1440p, the 4080 or 7900 XTX got an average of 160 FPS, which is an insane number for 1440p, and honestly in my opinion it's an overkill for this resolution. But as I said before, if you have a 1440p 240Hz monitor and you actually want to upgrade to 4K at some point, it's going to make sense to go with this system, especially if you have a budget of around $2,000. For the rest of the components, we have the Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 SE for the aftermarket CPU cooler, which is going to be enough for this Ryzen 7. However, if you have more money to spend, I recommend you considering the Deepcool LS520. This is a 240 all-in-one liquid cooler, which is going to look better and it performs better as well, but it is going to cost you $84. So if you have $50 more to spend on the CPU cooler, go with the all-in-one liquid cooler instead of the Thermalright Peerless Assassin. Then for the motherboard, we have the ASRock B650E PG Riptide. This one has Wi-Fi included, plenty of features for gaming, and also plenty of M.2 slots, which is going to be useful if you need way more storage down the line. Then you get 32 gigs of DDR5 memory once again, but this time is the RGB version. You also get 2TB of Gen 4 SSD, which is actually plenty of storage. And then for the case, we have the Deepcool CH560. This one is expensive at $110, but I think it's worth the price difference because of how beautiful it looks, and also the airflow is top tier. It comes with 4 pre-installed fans, but I believe this one is one of the best looking cases in the market, and you can always turn off the RGB if you are not into RGB. And last but not least, we have the power supply in the Fantex AMP version 2 1000 watts 80 plus volt power supply, which is going to be plenty of wattage for this system. The total price is almost $2,000 if you go with the Thermalright Peerless Assassin for the CPU cooler, and it's about $2,040 if you end up buying the all-in-one liquid cooler. You will have both alternatives in the description, and you will also have PCs that are more expensive than $2,000 in case you want the best of the best with the RTX 4090, which is the fastest GPU in the entire market. But in my opinion, for gaming, most people are going to be happy with the 7900 XTX or even the 7900 XT from the $1,500 PC build. If you need personal PC help and you want me to help you find the perfect PC build for your budget and your needs, in the top link in the description you will have my website where I will be able to help you out. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.